Hi, everyone. Welcome to the course selection session, Start U of G course selection for the Bachelor of Mathematics. We're just going to let people slowly come in, but we'll get started in a little bit. I'm just quickly going to introduce myself. My name is Ian. I'm the coordinator of the Peer Helper program, and I'll be sort of helping to walk us through this session. But we have two amazing program advisors and one fantastic faculty advisor who will be doing the majority of the information sharing and walking us through this piece. My colleague Nate is also here. He'll be looking after the chat. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the Q&A section, and we'll also be posting important links in there. Just to let you know, we are recording this session, and you will be able to access it after the session is done later this week. So as I mentioned, this session is for the students in the Bachelor of Mathematics. I just realized I'm talking and you guys can't see me, and I'm just like a random voice. And hopefully you can see me now. So this session is for students in the Bachelor of Mathematics. If you're not in the Bachelor of Mathematics, don't worry. You can log off, go to the Start U of G website, and you can find the time and session for your specific program. So all math, all the time is what we're about today. So today we're going to be talking about, we'll cover all the land acknowledgement, then we're talking about common terms and course selection, go over the registration guide for new students. We'll show you how to use WebAdvisor. We'll cover an academic advising at U of G. We'll also go over course selection for transfer students, an international student reminder, and then an FAQ section. As I mentioned, we do have the Q&A function. It's just right at the top of your screen. If you have questions as we're going through, please feel free to pop them in there. And either myself or Nate will answer them, or if we're unable to answer them, we'll flag the advisors, but we'll make sure that your question gets answered today. So we acknowledge that the University of Guelph resides on the traditional lands of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit. We recognize that today this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, and acknowledge them reminds us of our relation to this land where we all learn and grow. Over the next few years, this is going to be a place where you'll be getting to know the area, getting to know the land. If you'd like more information, we do have a site specifically for land acknowledgements and understanding the land here at U of G, and Nate is going to drop that link in the chat. So as I mentioned, my name is Ian Carney. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the coordinator of the Peer Helper program here at U of G, but I'm also part of the student experience team, which runs the START programming, and we're really focused on helping you transition into U of G and getting you set and ready for your first year. And then I'm also here with my colleague Nate.
Hi, folks. I'm Nate. I use he and him pronouns, and I'm part of the Start orientation team. So I run events over the summer to get you ready for the fall, and looking forward to seeing all of you for a very exciting orientation week.
And then the other thing I will mention, you can always email us if you have any questions about orientation or coming to U of G. Email us at start@uoguelph.ca. Now I'm going to throw it over to our academic advisors. And Nate and I will disappear from your screen, and the advisors will come on.
Thanks, Ian and Nate. Hi, everyone. My name is Brenly DeFranco. I am the Senior Academic Advisor in the Summerly Hub, so that includes the Bachelor of Mathematics. I'm also joined by Jessica Nida. We both use she, her pronouns. Jess is an Academic Advisor and Program Specialist in our office. We're both located in the Summerly Science Complex, so we're right on the main floor there when you come in our main building. We're both U of G alumni, so we're fellow Griffins, and we're here to help you navigate your academic journey. If you have any questions throughout your time here, you can email us at bmath.advising@uoguelph.ca, and that will go to our front desk, and they can help answer a lot of questions, or sometimes they'll send them off to academic advisors. Our next slide shows just some other friendly faces that you'll see in the office. So we've got a whole team of academic advisors and advising assistants, and any of them can help you when you come on over to ask any questions. We also have with us today Lorna. She is our faculty advisor for BMATH. Her office is in McNaughton, so that's kind of connected to the Summerlee Science Complex. And she's also a U of G alumni and fellow Griffin, and her email is there on the screen. So the difference between an academic advisor and a faculty advisor, we're both here to help guide you through your academics. Folks like Jess and I are more here to guide you on course registration, course sequencing, what to do if you get sick and miss an exam and need a deferred exam, navigating your rights and responsibilities as a student and kind of as it relates to the academic calendar here at the University of Guelph. And then Lorna can help answer questions about your specific courses. So I want to do this in my future. What courses should I take? How should I navigate this? What am I really learning in those math and stats courses? Because her specialty would be mathematics, and Jess and I advise for a lot of different majors and degrees. So that's kind of the difference between us. If you want to flip to the next screen, I think there might be a few other things there. How to prepare for a meeting. So if you do have a meeting with us, we do ask that you've kind of done your homework before you come. So you know what your questions are, you come prepared, you know what courses you've taken, maybe where you're off sequence or what you're trying to do. You've looked through the Bachelor of Math Academic Advising website. So you've gone through all of that, and you've looked at your WebAdvisor to see what your options are, where you are right now. Really helps kind of move our meetings along, so we really know how to help you. All of our information is found on the Bachelor of Math Academic Advising website, which I think Nate will pop in the chat there, so you can look over that. It includes a wealth of information, including what courses you should be taking, what courses are approved as electives in your degree and in your major, how to declare a minor if you want to add a minor or an area of emphasis or anything else. A lot of information is on that website there. And then you can go to Lorna if you have questions kind of about the courses that you are taking. So next we are going to dive into more of the course selection stuff. I'm going to pass it over to Jess.
Hello, nice to meet you all. Excited to welcome you to campus in September. I'm going to go over some helpful tips here for course selection. The most helpful tip we can give you is to please plan ahead. You will be able to log into WebAdvisor, view the available courses and sections for each course. And then the hope is that you, before your course selection window opens on July 10th at 8 a.m., you've created a schedule for yourself that's conflict-free. We want you to be flexible during course selection. Sometimes a course or specific section that you've planned has filled up before you can register. So in that planning ahead, choosing 2 or 3 other sections for those really big courses that also work with your schedule. It's easier to have those on hand than to notice the class is full as you're registering and need to go back to the drawing board. So create a conflict-free schedule ahead of time with some backups for which sections could also work if the section that you picked as your ideal section has filled. Be up, ready, and logged in before 8 a.m. on the morning of your course selection window. Course selection is open right up until September, but the longer you leave course selection, the more sections that will be filled. We do have waitlist functions on our courses, but being on a waitlist does not guarantee access to the course. Essentially, how it works is it means the course is absolutely full and a student has to leave the course for a space to open up for someone off of the waitlist. So before adding yourself to a waitlist, you're going to scroll through all the available sections, make sure there's really nothing that works with your schedule before you add yourself to the waitlist. You might not get into all 5 courses on that Friday morning at 8 a.m., and that's okay. An example might be there's an elective that you're really excited about taking, but it's restricted to students that require it for their program at first, and then when restrictions are lifted, you can register. So you'd still put something in its place on Friday, July 10th, but when restrictions are lifted, you can drop that course that you put in its place and add the course that you're excited about taking that might not open up to you until a little bit later in the course registration window. Another helpful tip, if you've added yourself to a wait list, if you're given a spot off of that wait list, You have 24 hours after being notified to register yourself in that course. Make sure your U of G email is set up and ready to go, and that you're monitoring it through the summer for helpful information from the Office of the Registrar before course selection, and through the course selection period for information you'll need to know before joining us in September. You might have a transfer credit from an IB program or an AP course. If you do, your course selection window would open on Wednesday, July 8th at 1 p.m. And that would be if you have 0.25 credits complete or more. Most first-year students will register on July 10th at 8 a.m. That's only for the exception there if you have any AP or IB transfer credits. We want to head over to the next slide there. I can review some of the common terms in course selection. So you would have heard me reference your course selection window. That's when you specifically get to register for your courses within the course selection period. So first year BMATH students will register on July 10th at 1 p.m. Most courses you'll notice are worth 0.5 credit. All of the ones you'll register in first year are. You require 20 credits to graduate. Broken down over those 4 years is 2.5 credits or 5 courses per semester. In the future, you'll notice some courses might be worth 0.25, 0.75, or 1 credit, and you'd adjust your schedule based on the credits at that point. But for first year, you need to know most credits are 0.5, and you'll register in 5 as per the registration guide. Part-time students are any student that are enrolled in less than 1.5 credits. For students enrolled in 1.5 credits or more, you're considered a full-time student. If you're registered with student accessibility services, your part-time course load might still make you a full-time student if that's an accommodation that's been decided with SAS. Another term you'll see a lot is electives. There will be a link in the presentation here of what is an elective, what's an approved science elective versus liberal education versus free. You'll pay attention in your schedule of studies when it indicates what type of elective you'll be taking, and that web page can kind of guide you to list on what is considered each of those different types of electives. All right, the next page, a couple other common terms. You've heard us reference the undergraduate calendar. That's where you'll find your schedule of studies for BMATH. You're the 2026 to 2027 calendar year. And the schedule of studies outlines what you should be taking each semester, each year as a BMATH student. The schedule of dates is a listing of all the important dates organized by semester. So it'll show the first day of classes, the last day to drop classes, if there's any holidays or breaks in your schedule. If a day has been rescheduled, it'll tell you what day is in sequence for that rescheduled class. So it gives you any really important key date that you would need to know for any semester moving forward. And lastly, common terms, we've mentioned WebAdvisor. WebAdvisor is kind of the hub for everything you need related to course selection, viewing your degree, your progress of your degree, checking your tuition bill, applying for graduation. And we're going to show you a video a little bit later of how you'll navigate through WebAdvisor, but it's kind of your one-stop shop for all of that important information as we're going through. Thank you.
Thanks, Jess. So one really important website that you want to review before you register for courses is the registration guide for new students. It's got all the details that you need for registering in your first semester, for your first year. Like Jess said, we're registering for both fall and winter, so you're going to have your whole schedule for the year. You'll be in different classes in fall than you will be in winter, but we're going to register for them at the same time. There's also information about a lot of helpful resources on campus, financial aid, how to pay your fees, how to pay your tuition. All those dates and deadlines are also in the registration guide. So make sure you're reading that before going ahead to register. If we flip to the next slide, we'll look through the courses that most of our BMATH students are taking in first year. And if Lorna's available, she might pop on just to chat more about these. You'll see in first semester, you've got 4 required courses, and then you've got 1 elective. And so an elective is a choice that you're going to make. You get to elect which one you take. It's not an option whether you take one or not. You should be taking one. If you don't take one, you'd have to do one later. And then in winter, you've got 2 electives. Usually that's when students do at least 1 liberal education one, because you've got a half credit liberal education requirement within your degree program. So I'll pass it over to Lorna if you want to give an overview just of these courses.
Yeah, I'll talk about them really quickly here. I'll also encourage all you folks that are attending today to also keep an eye on your email. You will be getting an email and information throughout the summer about Academic Orientation Week events. And during Academic Orientation Week, we will have another BMATH session in person on campus, and that'll be a chance for you to meet me in person, as well as some of the instructors from these courses. So keep your eye on your emails over the summer for all the good information about Academic Orientation Week events. So I'm Lorna Deeth. I'm the faculty advisor for the Department of Math and Stats. And as was mentioned already, if at any point you have questions about, what am I going to be covering in this math course, or I want to go to graduate school in data science, what courses should I take? You'd come and chat with me about the course options and what would be a good academic plan for you. But your first year is pretty much set, and these are the core courses that you're going to take that will set you up for success in your future math and stat courses. So I'm going to start with just the math and stat ones. Math 1200 and Math 1210, Calculus 1 and 2 that you take in the fall and winter, will be a continuation of your MCV for you. So your calculus and vectors that you took in high school. There's a lot of review taught in these courses. So if you're sort of thinking, I don't remember some of it, or it's been a long summer already, and things are a little bit fuzzy, that's okay. These courses start off with a lot of review, but you can expect to see things traditional to what you saw in your MCV4U course and expanding on that. The Math 1160 that you take in the winter semester, that's a linear algebra course. So some of what you did in MCV4U, so the vectors, maybe some matrix manipulations and matrix operations, again, that's what you start in linear algebra, but all done from an introductory level. So going over some of what you might have seen already and then building upon that. So 3 of those courses are going to have some topics that you've seen already. And so it's a nice way to introduce yourself to the university level math, is seeing some things that you've already touched upon a little bit in your high school courses. Stat 1200 is a probability and chance course. So it's a little bit mathy, it's a little bit statty, but it's meant to give a really intuitive introduction to concepts related to probability and chance. So things like, how do we know that the probability of getting an even number when we roll a die is 1/2? We look at doing little experiments or some mathematical operations to help derive those probabilities in a really intuitive sense. And we have a really enthusiastic instructor, Dr. Gary Humphrey, teaching that course, and he's already confirmed to be at our academic orientation day in the fall. He's super excited to meet our incoming students. And Stat 2040 Statistics 1 is probably a little bit new to a lot of students, unless you've taken MDM4U. If you took data management in high school, Stat 2040 will have some overlap with that course, and then again build upon some ideas that are unique to statistics and what differentiates statistics from mathematics. But don't worry if you didn't take MDM4U, this course is taught from the ground up, from an introductory level. You might just have a little bit of overlap if you had taken data management in high school, but we teach our introductory statistics as if you don't have data management. But if you did, it gives you just a little bit of a sense of what you might start off with in that course. Some really basic concepts in statistics. So what is an average or a mean? What's a median? Things we've seen before, but now we put more formal language on them, and then we build from there. And then the other courses that you're required to take are a programming course, an introduction to programming course. Computer programming does become part of mathematics and statistics simply because we use computers to do math and stats. A lot of what we get into, especially at higher level courses, we simply cannot carry out these calculations by hand. So we have our students take an introduction to programming course in their first year to just get some basic programming experience. CIS 1300 is the course that we recommend if you're planning on taking further computer science courses. If you found that interesting to you and you think you might want to do some computer science courses along with your mathematics degree, we recommend you take CIS 1300, but there is an alternative CIS course that is available, CIS 1500, if you want to take a different introductory programming course. But the programming background is something we do want our students to have before they get into higher level math courses. And the English 1030 is a course that we ask our students to take to give them some experience with just reading and writing at an introductory university level. Even though we're doing math and stats, communication skills are still really important. And so we want our students to be able to communicate effectively. And so taking an introductory effective writing course just gives our students the basic skills that they need to make good communication models in mathematics and statistics. So I'll leave it at that. We'll have a lot more details about these courses. And again, the opportunity for you to meet the instructors for the math and stat courses at our academic orientation day in September when you're here on campus. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea as to what your first year will look like in terms of the courses we're programming you to take.
Lorna, can I ask one common question that students ask? Can you dive deeper into the difference between CIS 1300 and 1500 and how a student would make a choice between taking one or the other, knowing that the titles, one's called programming, one's called introduction to programming, are so similar? Could you give an overview of that for students?
Yeah, the biggest difference is they're programming languages that are two different topics in the different courses. So CIS 1300, I believe, introduces programming through C and C+. If you've done any programming and that means anything to you, then that's the language they use in CIS 1300, whereas CIS 1500 introduces programming through a language called Python. And so a little bit of a different approach. The different languages have sort of different syntax. Some have more built-in libraries, whereas other programming languages, you're doing a lot more from scratch. Both are taught from the ground up, so no prior programming experience is necessary for either course. But if you're planning on taking further computer science courses, if that's of interest to you, the computer science department does require that you start your programming in the C++ language. There's a little bit more, I think, technical detail in that language and in that course to just prepare you for further CIS courses. Whereas if you're sort of, I'm just going to do my introduction to programming and I just going to do the one course, I don't have any interest in doing further computer science, the CIS 1500 gives you an introduction to a programming language. One that's very applicable. Python is very applicable in a variety of different fields. We use it in math and stats as well. But it doesn't have some of the higher level computer science requirements to get you into the higher level computer science courses. So if you're at all thinking, maybe I might want to do more computer science courses, we would encourage you to take CIS 1300. If you're adamant, I'm not going to do more computer science courses, I'm really interested in something else, then CIS 1500 would give you an adequate background for what we require in mathematics and statistics.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that.
Perfect.
Okay, so we talked about WebAdvisor a little while ago, and this is an example of what it could look like when you're on the Progress tab. So it shows you your program, it'll highlight your cumulative average. If you have a minor, that'll be reflected here too, your calendar year, the department you belong to, and then it will break down. This shows someone who's fairly far along in their program. You'll see a lot of green, a lot of things marked complete, When you log on prior to course selection, these will all be marked 0 out of, and then the requirement, and they'll be highlighted in red. When it's in progress, it's yellow. When it's completed, it's green. But this is a good way where you can log in to take a peek at your progress. You can also use the planning tool to plan out your semesters. And you can, when we said to create a conflict-free schedule, be planful in advance, you can do that right in WebAdvisor too. Physically plan the fall and winter. So then when course registration opens, you just have to click enroll. So WebAdvisor is your friend for all of these bits, keeping you on track. And then you can meet with an academic advisor when needed to help if the requirements look different than expected. All right, I think we're going to skip now to the video so you can kind of see WebAdvisor in action.
Welcome to the Student Planning Informational Series for the University of Guelph, Ridgetown Campus, and University of Guelph-Humber. Student Planning is a self-serve system available to all U of G, Ridgetown, and Guelph-Humber students who are actively enrolled in a program. It combines optional degree planning with intuitive course search tools and registration in a new, easy-to-navigate online environment. To assist both new and returning students, a series of training videos has been developed to help guide you through the most common features of student planning. In this video, we will cover how to register for courses using student planning. For information about when you can register for courses, visit your campus's course selection webpage.
To get started, go to WebAdvisor and click on the Access WebAdvisor button. Enter your central login username and password if you are not yet signed in. Expand the menu on the left-hand side and select Academics. Under Student Planning, click on Plan, Schedule, Register, and Drop.
This brings you to the Plan and Schedule page. By default, this will load the current plan and course registration of the current semester. To view and register for another term, please use the navigation arrows to navigate to the desired term. For this example, we wish to register for courses for the upcoming fall 2021 semester. To register for a course or section must have already been added to the term plan. If this has not already been done, you can use the convenient search option towards the top right. Please refer to the video Finding Courses. Once the course or section has been added to your term plan, you can register for the course. There are two ways to do this. 1. Register by an individual course at a time, or 2. Register for all courses at once. First, we will look at how to register for a single course. To do this, you must find the individual course section that fits your schedule. All course sections of a planned course will show as yellow in the timetable. This includes their lecture, lab, and seminar times. In the panel on the left, you can view details about the available sections, such as the number of seats available, times, location, instructor, etc., by clicking.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. I'll start it again and hopefully get back to the right spot.
Of a planned course will show as yellow in the timetable. This includes their lecture, lab, and seminar times. In the panel on the left, you can view details about the available sections, such as the number of seats available, times, location, instructor, etc., by clicking and expanding the View Other Sections on the course of interest. Note that hovering over a specific section will make that section bold in the timetable on the right. The timetable is useful for determining whether multiple courses are scheduled for the same time. If the lecture, lab, or seminar of a course section overlaps with another, both courses will show as red in the timetable. You will also receive a warning message if you try to register for overlapping courses. If you are a Guelph campus student and you are making changes to your registration after the final exam schedule has been posted on WebAdvisor, you also need to make sure there's not a direct final exam conflict. The final exam schedule is usually posted about a month before the semester begins. Final exams will show on the timetable in blue. Please keep in mind that the timetable represents a single week and your final exams may be spread over multiple weeks. You may see overlap of exams that are actually taking place on separate weeks. To ensure that there is not a final exam conflict, click on the print button above the timetable for full exam details for your registered courses. To add a desired section to your timetable, click on the section. This will open the section details, and you may add the section by clicking the Add Section button towards the bottom right. The timetable to the right will be updated, and the status of adding the section will be displayed from the notifications. If there are any errors or issues with adding the course section, it will be displayed here. Now that the desired section has been added to your term plan, you can register for the course. To do so, click on the Register button for the course section. Again, the timetable to the right will be updated, and the status message will be displayed in the notifications. You have registered for a course. The lecture for the registered course will now show in green, and if the course has a lab or seminar, it will show in purple. A distance education course without scheduled lectures, labs, or seminars will be noted below the timetable in green. You may prefer to plan and add all your sections at once before registering. This is recommended as it reduces time to add and remove registered courses that may cause a conflict. In such scenarios, you may find it useful to register for all your courses at once. You can register for all courses currently added to your term plan by clicking on the Register Now button towards the top right. You have now registered for all your term courses. Note that if any courses have an issue, for example, missing prerequisites or course conflicts, etc., an error message will be provided. You will still be registered in the remaining error-free courses. If you would like to remove a planned course from your schedule, click the X beside the course name in the left panel, and then click the Remove button in the pop-up window to confirm. We hope that you are now familiar with how to register for courses using student planning. Watch our other student planning videos for more information about degree planning and course enrollment at the University of Guelph, Ridgetown campus, and University of Guelph-Humber. If you have any questions, visit your campus's student planning website. For Guelph and Ridgetown campuses, please visit uoguelph.ca/student planning. And for the Guelph-Humber campus, please visit guelphumber.ca/student planning.
Okay, if we flip to the next slide there, just a refresher, the weekly timetable, what that might look like. You'll notice that in this schedule, the student registered in psychology, Psych 1000, it's not showing up on the schedule because it's a DE course. So it is normal if you've registered in a DE course for it not to be reflected in the schedule once you've fully registered. Classes in purple are labs or seminars, green are lectures, and then the blue are exams. So there's not an actual conflict with those green boxes there from the blue boxes. Classes will have ended before exams start. So it's just showing that your 5 exams for your 5 classes are on 5 different days, but the green and purple boxes, you'll have finished classes, that schedule will be over, and then your exam schedule is the blue moving forward for the rest of the year to the end of exams. Now I'll pass it back to Brinley.
Thanks, Jess. So just to touch briefly on course selection for transfer students, in case any folks here are transferring into the University of Guelph, we would love to meet with all students who are transferring in because we can really help you come up with a customized plan for what courses you got transfer credit for, and then what courses it makes sense to take next, and help you plan out your degree in the time frame that you're hoping. So for instance, if you came in and you got 5 transfer credits, that's equivalent to about a year of study. And so you would probably want to be finishing your degree in 3 years. And so we can kind of help you sequence that out to see if that is possible within the time frame. So if you have any transfer credits, feel free to reach out to us, and make sure that when you're picking when you're looking at your registration date, that registration window, you're paying close attention to how many credits you have, and then therefore what window that puts you in. There's a few different windows. One is the anything over 2.5, so if you have a quarter credit or more, there's also a window that's 5 credits or more. So if you did happen to come in with a full year of study, maybe you've studied at another university or college, then you might be picking significantly earlier than some of our traditional first years coming from high school. So that's all just to say, if you're a transfer student, please do reach out to us and we're happy to come up with kind of a custom plan. Also check out the step-by-step guide in the new student registration guide because there is some helpful hints there as well. On our next slide, we're just going to go over some other information about transfer credits from high school. So you may also be eligible to receive transfer credit for any of the following. Sometimes students have IB course credits. That would be with a final grade of 5 or better. If you did any AP exams with a minimum final grade of 4. If you're coming in with A levels, advanced levels, so those are British subjects with a final grade of C or better, and then CAPE Unit 2 subjects with a grade of 1, 2, or 3. Any of those might result in extra transfer credit. So the credit will be considered once admissions department receives the official scores. So if you're still in any of those courses and wrapping up, then you can just expect once you have the final scores and the admissions department has seen that transcript, then they'll be able to post the credit. So it's possible that you might get your credit after course registration happens. We can even work with you throughout the summer to determine, okay, now that you got this credit for this elective, does that change your plan for this year? Or do you want to just take one last course later on? Something like that. So we're happy to answer any questions about transfer credits as well. Usually it's best via email or one-on-one, just because everyone's situation is so specific. On our next slide, we're just going to go over some brief information for any of our international students in the room. So things to consider, if you're an international student and you're registering in part-time studies, so that means 1.0 credit or less, or if you take an unauthorized leave, so that means taking a semester off when there's not one scheduled in your schedule of studies, or if you're completing more than half your program online, which might be difficult, but any of those things could impact several other things. So your student status in Canada, your ability to work on or off campus, and also your PGWP, so postgraduate work permit eligibility. So if you are an international student and you're thinking taking some time off or becoming a part-time student, it's good to touch base with your global pre-arrival support advisor, so the GPS advisors, and then also touch base with academic advising so we can come up with a plan for that as well. Once you're here as a student, you also have an international student advisor, so the ISAs, and they can also help answer any questions related to visas, immigration, anything like that. And then I think we're going to jump into the FAQs. Jess, I'll pass it back to you, and we'll take a look at the chat to see if anything comes through. So if you do have any personalized questions or anything that you want us to go over again, you can also put it in the Q&A.
Just a reminder, some important dates and deadlines. June 15th was the deadline for your deposit. That has to be paid before you can register for your courses on July 10th. Your window opens at 8 a.m. on July 10th. In late July, you'll receive your semester bill. That'll be posted to WebAdvisor. And then the final semester payment deadline is September 18th.
Okay, so we just have a few frequently asked questions. How many credits should I take in a semester? Like we showed on the other screen, typically you're going to be in 5 courses in the fall, 5 in the winter. Most of our courses are worth a half credit. And so that would be 2.5 credits per semester for 5 credits. I always think of it like a hand, like each course is like a half credit and you got your hand for the semester for the year. And then you've got 4 years. So kind of making a building like this. So yeah, typically you're taking 2.5 credits. If you ever register in a course that's worth, say, 0.75, maybe you're in an elective and it has a little bit of a higher weighting, you can self-register into up to 2.75 credits, and it's not technically considered a credit overload. It would be a little bit of a higher workload for the semester, but you can do that on your own. If at any point you wanted to take 3 credits or more, that would be considered a credit overload and would need approval from our office. Typically, we approve those for students who have a GPA of at least 70% and are in at least second year or higher. So credit overload would not be something you do in first year. Typically, you'll just be in the 2.5 credits per semester. So 2.5 in the fall, 2.5 in the winter. How do I know what electives to take? So common question. Sometimes it's easier to just register for the 4 courses that are required because you know you've been told to take them. Then you've got an elective and you're like, what do I take? We have a list on our website of approved electives on the Bachelor of Math Academic Advising website. It doesn't list specific courses, but it does list all of the subject areas, and it will tell you specifically whether they are included or not as, say, a liberal education elective. So it's really important to look through WebAdvisor and look at all those subject areas. Choose something that's outside of your traditional area of study. So electives are designed to give you breadth in your knowledge and kind of make your degree a whole package. So you're not learning just math, just a specific specialization, but you're also getting that holistic experience. So take a history course, take a geography course, take something from a different department that maybe feels outside of your comfort zone, but might be a really rewarding experience. And in the grand scheme of things, it's 1 course out of the 40 you're going to take here. So I encourage you to kind of take something new, something fun, and look through all the options because there really are hundreds, if not thousands of courses at the university, probably more in the hundreds that you could take in first year, but there's lots to look through. So we've got the link that we've posted in the chat there. So take a look at our website, but also just look through WebAdvisor and see what kind of strikes your fancy and you're interested in learning about, and it doesn't have any prereqs. Usually those are going to be courses that are like 1,000 levels, and those are designed usually for first year students.
What if a required course says full? Oh, sorry, see.
Oh, that was just a screenshot from our what our website looks like.
Oh, great. So what if a required course says it's full? First, scroll through all of the available sections and make sure you didn't miss one that has availability. You just want to register in any section that has available space that works with your schedule. We don't want students waiting on a waitlist for a specific section. We just want to make sure that you're enrolled. Again, waiting on a waitlist never guarantees a spot in the course. So you'll scroll through all the sections, triple check that there's nothing available. If the required course is full, you'll add yourself to the waitlist right away. When you add yourself to a waitlist, it's for a specific section, not for the course. So you'll add yourself to the waitlist for a section that works with your schedule that has the least amount of students on the waitlist. And then students are given offers off the waitlist as space becomes available. So if there's a required course that's full, add yourself to the waitlist. Keep monitoring your email. Really important to check your U of G email regularly through this period of time. If you do not get into a required course, you connect with our office and we can help you resequence it for a later semester.
Why is a course restricted? So sometimes in WebAdvisor, you might add a course to your course plan or try to register for it, and it says restricted to, and they'll probably have some letters that indicate a different degree program or a different major. Sometimes there are temporary priority access restrictions on courses that might be required for another degree program, so they have to take it. So the university kind of protects that course for a short amount of time to ensure those students in that degree program or that major have time to register, and then they'll lift the restrictions. So then if there's space, other folks can go ahead and either register or add themselves to the wait list. So there is a central website that we can put in the chat for course restrictions that are campus-wide. So you can look and see they are different for fall and winter. If a course is offered in the fall and the winter, it could have different restrictions on each semester. So if there's a course you want to take in fall and you're not able to get it, maybe it's a course that you could take in winter, and you are scheduled to take an elective in both your fall and winter in first year. So that is one way to kind of look at, is it just in the other semester? Otherwise, it's just checking the restrictions list to find out when it will be lifted, and then going back on that date or later to see if that space has opened. In the meantime, it's always good to pick sort of a second option, go with option B for now, something that works with your schedule that you're okay with taking. In case the space doesn't open up over there, it's usually better to have a full course schedule than to be sitting on a bunch of wait lists. So it's important to kind of look through and see what's open at the time, and registering right when the window's open usually helps with that as well. Are there any other questions that folks are seeing in the chat, or anything else you can think of? Or Lorna, if there's anything you can think of that first year students have asked you in the past, we're happy to kind of answer any questions here with the folks that are here live today.
I would say definitely I get students asking me that which elective should I take. It is a bit overwhelming when you have one course and hundreds, if not thousands, to choose from. We'll talk about it in the academic orientation day, but in the BMATH, you have lots of room for free electives in that.
I think Lorna is frozen.
I think so too. I wasn't sure if I was
Okay.
frozen too. Yeah. But to reiterate what Lorna was saying, there is a lot of electives.
Yeah, lots of electives. So I echo what was already said. Take a look through the undergraduate calendar and find something that's of interest to you. Maybe you have been taking courses at high school that you'd like to continue taking as part or complementary to your Bachelor of Mathematics degree. We see students doing the Bachelor of Mathematics and taking French courses on the side, or geography courses, or business courses, or anything that they think will help enhance their academic career, their academic experience, and ultimately help with their post-university goals. And if you have questions, or if you don't even know where to look, feel free to reach out to any of us, and we can at least point you to different parts of the academic calendar or someplace where you can go check out some of the options available to you.
Awesome. Well, I'm not seeing anything else coming through the chat, but students are always welcome to email us, bmath.advising@uoguelph.ca, and a member of our advising team is happy to get back to you. Is there anything else you wanted to wrap up with or say from the START team? I think you're on mute.
You think I'd be better after this at many years of doing it, but I just wanted to say thank you to all the advisors. Thank you to everyone who came today. The session has been recorded and will be available on the Start U of G website, which is startuofg.ca. And if you have any questions about your orientation or coming to Guelph in general, please email us at start@uofguelph.ca. So thanks again for coming, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. And as I mentioned, this will be recorded and posted on the website soon. So thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.